Most people think poverty is a lack of money, but in reality, it's often a cycle. You earn gives you spend, gives you start over. And the moment your income rises, something strange happens. Your lifestyle rises too. Better apartment, better phone, better car, more subscriptions, more little expenses that quietly become permanent. Experts call this lifestyle inflation, spending that grows with income and prevents real wealth from forming. So even when people earn more, they don't actually move forward. Meanwhile, there's another force at work, something economists sometimes call cumulative advantage. In simple terms, the rich get richer because their existing resources create more opportunities. What if the biggest thing keeping you from wealth isn't your job, your background, or even the economy, but an invisible system you never knew you were trapped in? Every day, millions of people wake up early, work hard, stay late, and still feel like they're running on a treadmill that never stops. The paycheck comes in, bills swallow it, and somehow nothing changes. Meanwhile, others seem to move in the opposite direction. Their money grows, their options expand, their stress shrinks. So, what do they know that most people don't? Because wealth isn't just about how much you earn, it's about how the game itself works, and whether you're playing offense or defense. And once you see the rules, you can't unsee them. Money generates money. Connections create more connections. Knowledge unlocks better decisions. And if you don't break the loop, you can work twice as hard and still stay in the same place. But escaping the trap starts with a shocking realization. Hard work alone isn't enough. Some of the highest paid people in the world still end up broke. Professional athletes, celebrities, lottery winners, corporate executives. Because income is not wealth. Income is a flow. Wealth is a stockpile. Wealthy individuals often follow a simple rule that sounds almost boring. Live below your means. Even millionaires budget. They track spending. They resist the urge to upgrade everything just because they can. Why? Because every dollar you don't spend becomes a worker you can deploy later. Spend it, and it's gone. Invest it, and it starts building an army. In fact, many self-made millionaires don't look rich at all. They drive normal cars, live in modest homes, make quiet financial moves behind the scenes, because they understand something most people never learn. Looking wealthy and being wealthy are completely different games, and the real game begins with one powerful habit. Most people pay everyone else first. Rent, utilities, subscriptions, debt, shopping, entertainment. Then they try to save whatever is left, which is usually nothing. Wealth builders flip this order completely. They pay themselves first. That means the moment money arrives, a portion automatically moves into savings or investments before it can be spent. No decision required, no willpower needed, no temptation, just a system. This single habit creates consistency, the most underrated force in finance. Even small amounts saved regularly can grow dramatically over time, especially when investments are involved. Because wealth rarely comes from one giant move. It comes from thousands of small ones stacked together. And once that system is running, something remarkable happens. Your money starts working even when you're not. There's a fundamental difference between how most people use money and how wealthy people use it. Most people spend money to buy things. Wealthy people spend money to buy assets. Assets are things that produce income or grow in value. Businesses, investments, real estate, intellectual property. And the earlier you start investing, the more powerful compounding becomes. Over time, returns generate additional returns, accelerating growth dramatically. This is why two people with similar incomes can end up in completely different places financially. One spends everything they earn, the other turns income into income-producing machines. Many wealthy individuals also diversify their income streams, meaning they don't rely on a single paycheck. If one stream slows down, others keep flowing. And eventually, the income from assets can exceed the income from work. At that point, the rules of life change. But reaching that stage requires something most people struggle with: patience. We live in a world engineered for instant rewards. One-click purchases, same-day delivery. Buy now, pay later. But wealth lives on the opposite timeline. It rewards patience, restraint, and long-term thinking. Choosing not to upgrade your lifestyle immediately after a raise can dramatically accelerate wealth building. Saving or investing that extra income instead of spending it creates momentum most people never experience. This ability to delay gratification is one of the clearest behavioral differences. between those who accumulate wealth and those who don't, because every financial decision is really a trade. Comfort now, or freedom later. And while discipline sounds restrictive, it actually creates options. The ability to say no, to walk away, to choose your path instead of being forced into one. But there's another advantage wealthy people quietly build that money alone can't buy. Access. Wealth isn't just financial, it's informational and social. Who you know often shapes what you know and what opportunities you even see. Many wealthy individuals actively build networks and seek expert guidance, recognizing that informed decisions multiply results. They learn continuously. They study markets, they ask questions, they surround themselves with people who are ahead of them. Because opportunities rarely arrive as public announcements, they travel through conversations. Research also shows that strong relationships contribute not only to well-being, but to long-term success and longevity, factors that indirectly support wealth accumulation. In other words, isolation is expensive, connection is leverage, and for many families that maintain wealth across generations, entrepreneurship and innovation play a central role, constantly creating new value instead of relying on old success, which leads to the final shift. At some point, wealth builders stop thinking like employees and start thinking like owners. Owners don't just trade time for money. They create systems that generate value repeatedly. This could be a business, investments, intellectual property, or scalable skills that reach thousands instead of just one employer. Entrepreneurial thinking encourages calculated risks and innovation traits strongly associated with long-term wealth creation. It's not about quitting your job tomorrow. It's about building something that doesn't depend entirely on your daily presence, because time is finite. But scalable value isn't, and once your income is no longer capped by hours, your wealth potential expands dramatically. Here's the truth: most people discover too late. Wealth is not an event. It's a process, not a windfall, but a direction. Not luck, but design. Small habits become big outcomes. Consistent investing becomes financial independence. Quiet discipline becomes loud freedom. And the people who seem lucky often just started earlier or understood the rules sooner. So the real question isn't whether wealth is possible. It's whether you're building a system that makes it inevitable, or one that guarantees you'll stay exactly where you are. Because your future isn't decided by one big decision. It's decided by what you do automatically, every single month. And once you change that, you don't just earn money, you unlock your wealth potential.